Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice Radio, so today we're going to be taking a look at a deck which I am delighted about. It's Chandelure. Chandelure has gone and won a tournament over in Japan. I think I made my feelings about and my excitement about this new Chandelure rather obvious, rather clear in the video I did about Chandelure. Well, now it's gone and won a tournament, ladies and gentlemen. We have a good winning list, and I would very much like to share it with you. And one of the really cool things about this, there's literally one Ultra Ball and two Guzma. They are the only cards we're losing to the rotation. Everything else about this deck will be legal post-rotation, so don't you go worrying your pretty little heads about the rotation with this one. So, it all starts off with my boy, Chandelure. And Chandelure's got a rather ridiculous attack for a single fire energy. You discard the top 5 cards of your deck. You do 60 more damage for each Pokemon discarded in this way. But any fire Pokemon that you discard, you can put straight onto the bench. Which means if you discard a Stage 2 fire Pokemon, you get to put it straight onto the bench without having to evolve up. Which incidentally explains why this deck has 5 different Stage 2 Pokemon in. And also explains why you play a 2-4-4 line of Chandelure. You don't mind hitting Chandelure when you use the attack. You don't really mind hitting Lampert because you can just evolve it next turn, and essentially Chandelure is a Stage 1, so you're absolutely fine with that. Plus we've got Duskstone, more on that in a moment. So yeah, we're cool with this, ladies and gentlemen. And in fact, the only basic Pokemon we're playing here, 2 Litwick. That's it. We're playing 2 Litwick. Now, we are going to mulligan a few times, which is going to help our opponent, which kind of sucks. But outside of that, you're going to start with a Litwick, and then, of course, you've got more Pokemon in your deck you're going to hit with Chandelure than you are going to be able to play down normally. That's pretty awesome. So, Chandelure is one of these Stage 2s. What are the other 4? Well, one of the ones we're playing here is the Charizard from Team Up. Now, the Charizard from Team Up is just a plain good attacker. What you get to do is search your deck for 2 fire energy, attach them to Charizard, and then pop 2 damage counters on Charizard. You then discard all fire energy attached to it, do 30 damage plus 50 for each energy discarded. So if you just use the ability, you do 130, but if you use the ability plus your attachment for the turn, you go ahead and hit 180. It's not going to get the bigger Tag Team GXs or even the bigger GXs, but outside of that, it's a pretty phenomenal attacker. And remember, you're getting these into play using Chandelure, so you're basically playing them as basic Pokemon, and these are all phenomenal. But hey, maybe you want to do a little bit of extra damage. Well, the good news is we're playing a couple Incineroar. Incineroar's got a great ability which says that all of your Pokemon's attacks do 30 more to your opponent's active Pokemon. Although to be completely clear, this ability does not stack. You can have more than one Incineroar out, but you only get to use one ability. So now Charizard's doing an extra 30 and Chandelure's doing an extra 30, and well, let's just be clear, right? All of your Pokemon are doing an extra 30. But if you want to do a little bit more damage, how about Delphox? You see, and as a side note, right, any deck that's playing Chandelure, Delphox, and Incineroar, probably my 3 favourite fire types, unless I'm forgetting one, that is a deck I cannot wait to go and play. And Delphox just burns your opponent's active Pokemon whenever you feel like it. So now you're actually doing 50 more damage with all of your attacks. 30 for Incineroar, 20 for Delphox. Bearing in mind that it's only 20 for Delphox if they get out the active or you KO them straight away, because otherwise you actually get to do more damage because that burn will do 20 after your turn, 20 after theirs, etc., until they end up flipping a heads after they take the damage. Gotta love that change in the burn rules. And then finally, we got a copy of Blaziken in here as well, the one from Dragon Majesty. The ability reads, once during your turn before you attack, you may attach a fire energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. It's Malamar for fire Pokemon, except it was a stage 2, so it was too slow. Now it isn't. Personally, I like throwing around the Infernape. That means that your damage from burn goes from 2 to 6 between turns. But this seems like a pretty good mix, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good set of stage 2s. You don't usually see 5 different stage 2s in a deck, but you don't usually see Chandelure. But being able to pile damage on, especially onto Charizard, is huge here with Blaziken. Because make no mistake about it, Chandelure gets your Pokemon out, but it's really down to Charizard. And now if we put it all together, you use the ability to get 2 energy attached for the turn, you're doing 180. Plus Incineroar is 210. Plus Delphox with the burn is 230. Now you add 1 more energy with Blaziken and you're up to 280. Now we're in Tag Team GX KOing territory. Now we're good, ladies and gentlemen. And that's how you hit the numbers with Charizard. Chandelure in the early game, Charizard when you're set up, bearing in mind there isn't a GX to be found in this entire deck, so your opponent has got to knock out 6 Pokemon to win the game. Bearing in mind you're only playing a couple of Litwick, the chances are your opponent's got to go through 6 kind of 140, 150 HP Pokemon just in order to win the game here. Yeah, that's going to be difficult for them to do. Now, there is one other Pokemon in this deck that isn't a Stage 2. We play Magcargo. Magcargo lets you put any card you want on top of your deck, guaranteeing that you get the right Stage 2 Fire Pokemon, so that when you use Chandelure's attack, you're going to get what you want. You're only guaranteeing 1, unfortunately, so you're only guaranteeing 70 damage. You might get lucky, but you might not. But as we've said, Chandelure is not your main attacker here. Chandelure is for setting up in the early game, then it's over to Charizard to smash. Now, in terms of trainer cards here, there are a couple that are particularly useful. We've got Duskstone. Now, Duskstone here, for your purposes in this deck, lets you evolve a Lampent straight into a Chandelure. No, you don't have to wait a turn. Now, in reality, most of your Lampents are going to just be put out with Chandelure anyway. But it means that you don't have to search out the Chandelure, you can just play a Duskstone. But it also means if you've got Litwick turn 1, turn 2 you can manually evolve into Lampent and then immediately play a Duskstone, and all of a sudden you've got your Chandelure. We're also playing a copy of Giant Furnace here. It's Viridian Forest, except, and this is fairly important, you can get 2 basic energy rather than 1 when you discard a card from your hand, but they've both got to be fire. Now, in terms of Pokemon Search, we're actually pretty light. We're playing a single copy of Ultra Ball. This is one of the very few cards from this deck that rotates. And then we're playing 4 copies of Duskstone and 4 copies of Pokemon Communication. Now, we all know that this is going to have to be our go-to card post-rotation, but we ain't post-rotation, ladies and gentlemen. We pre-rotation. But the difference here is you're playing a whole bunch of Pokemon. Not only that, but this is a kind of deck where you want to put Pokemon back in. You're playing 1 copy of Delphox. If it's in your hand when you attack with Chandelure, you are not hitting it. That is not happening here. It's kind of cool. It's a good fit for this deck. Now, we're also playing 3 copies of Pokegear 3.0. This is just going to help you get your supporters out. This is the goal. Get your supporters, get rolling, and get going. Because we're actually playing a weird supporter line here, an extremely weird supporter line. No Cynthia, no Lily. What we are playing here is 4 copies of Bill's Analysis, and then 3 copies of Green Search. Now, Bill's Analysis came out in Team Up, and you look at the top 7 cards of your deck and grab 2 trainers, put them into your hand. Green Search, if you've got no Pokemon in play with an ability, and bearing in mind a bunch of your Pokemon here do have abilities, so Green Search can't be used when you've got your Magcargo out, or when you've got your Charizard, or your Incineroar, or your Blaziken, or your Delphox. Basically any Pokemon that isn't in the Chandelure line. Having said that, you're literally playing them for their abilities, so you can't be mad at them. You're not trying to get a card advantage here. You're trying to search for trainers. And the reason is incredibly simple. You've got Giant Furnace to get your energy, and you don't want to draw your Pokemon. You want to get all the trainers out of your deck so you don't hit them with Chandelure, and all the Pokemon into your deck so you do hit them with Chandelure. Last thing you need is to play Cynthia and get a handful of Pokemon. That ain't gonna work. So we're playing Bill's Analysis and Green Search, and in this particular deck, it works beautifully. We've also got a couple copies of Guzma to be both a switch and drag a Pokemon active. They're the other cards that are rotating. And 2 copies of Brock's Grit, because Brock's Grit recovers a lot of Pokemon. Pre-rotation, you can still play Rescue Stretcher, but that's not the point of this deck, ladies and gentlemen. You need all of your Pokemon back. That's why getting 6 in any combination of Pokemon and energy is better. Plus, you might be putting 3 or 4 energy on a Charizard in one go. Brock's Grit is then going to get them back. This is one of those decks I am insanely hyped to go and have a play with. I love that it's got Incineroar, Delphox, and Chandelure in one deck. I love that it's going to be great post-rotation, or at least it's not going to lose very much. And I love that it's a weird deck that does not play like the other decks play. It's brilliant, and I love it. But I would very much like to know what you think about it. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. But please do remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice, would you? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.